Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host, RJ, and joined by my fellow co-host, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. How are you doing this evening, Scott? I'll go to you first, my man.
Doing well, mate. Doing well. It's a nice Thursday night. No work tomorrow. So, happy days.
Yeah, it's good to hear. How about yourself, Robbie?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. Always looking forward to the show, talking with you boys. That's it. It feels weird that it won't be our first weekend without no Premier League predictions for the season. So, yeah, just cruise it out tonight. I don't think there'll be too much banter, but it should be good.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm getting
it.
a few.
How are
I'm
you,
getting a
RJ?
few. I'm getting a few withdrawals because there's no Premier League. But I'm happy to know that at least my club officially has an owner now, and the government finally let go of their grip on us and said, you know what, you can continue to do football. So it's a football thing. And speaking of a football thing, we've got a few good football concepts to go through. We've got the huge UCL final. There's no quad for Liverpool, but they'll be undoubtedly chasing a treble. Can Hala Madrid stop them? We've also got Liverpool's manager, Klopp. He won the manager of the season. Fair, unfair? We'll let you decide in the live chat. But also, it's just important for us to reflect on a couple of the transfer updates and just give our views on that because it's an ever-moving beast. But, Scott, I believe we've got a few awesome people in the chat.
Absolutely, we do. We've got Tom here, one of the hosts at the United Pubcast, channeling his inner Madrista. Justin here, all the United fans, man. This Liverpool are in your heads, boys. Let them go. Marty here, also Aussie Spur TV. We got Davide. Yeah, we got apart from Liverpool fans, anyway, anyone in the IFT family want Liverpool to win. I do, because I think they're a better team than Madrid, and I want the better team to win this one. Good evening, more United fans cheering Madrid. Sammy's here. Good evening, Sammy. George, with a comment on Salah playing against his future team. Well, we'll see. We'll see. He did tweet something the other day saying he'll be back or something along those lines. So we'll have to wait and see. We've got Declared in the house. Declared, we're doing some pro clubs after this, mate. So make sure you're ready. The football capital, Borche here. Make sure you check them out. But let's jump straight into it. Let's start far, far away from Europe. Because, RJ, last night, I know you were in the crowd as well to watch Barcelona play the A-League All-Stars. Now, it's been a controversial game in the Australian football social media universe because you've got almost two sides. You've got your hardcore A-League people who I feel like they're just trying to make a statement and make some noise and whinge that Barcelona are here in Grand Final week. And then you have the people who have absolutely no time for the A-League and we're just stoked to see Barca here. For me, my experience, I thought it was a brilliant match. I was so impressed with the quality from the A-League All-Stars team. I was impressed with Barca. To see some of those players in the flesh was just unbelievable. And it was a great night out. You enjoy yourself, RJ?
Sure did. I thought it was fantastic. I understand the controversy because is the timing a good thing, bad thing? Because you can understand. You don't have to agree. I can understand what the logic is because it can be seen as overshadowing the marquee event here. But Scott and Robbie, I think we're all on the same page here. We think that any publicity is good publicity. And the fact that you've got 70 odd thousand people at the game, hundreds of thousands of people watching it, I formed the view that is actually going to help grow a few 100%. Extra sets of eyes and ears, even for the grand final itself, because I'll happily admit it on air and to the boys that this year I've been quite disconnected from the A-League. It's disappointing because I really wanted to get more involved, but through a combination of not so good broadcasting coverage, not so great marketing, and just a few other things, I found it very difficult to really engage with the sport down here. And it's disappointing because we've spoken to a lot of people and we know that there's some good people behind the scenes working really hard to try to grow the game. And we know it's Australia's most participated sport, but there's just a fundamental disconnect between grassroots level and filtering through to the top tier echelon here in Australia. So they really need to use these type of events to make the absolute most out of it and really look to try to bridge the gap. And for me, I'm hoping that the grand final goes well and they can really start in the off season better planning. But the game itself, Barcelona, I don't know what you thought, Scott, but watching it live, and I had a pretty high vantage point, just watching the movement, just watching the one-touch passing, Sergio Busquets, the way they've got the ball on the string, and Chelsea target Ousmane Dembele, wow, he was incredible. And I thought,
he was.
I
one of
know
my
it's the
standouts.
A-League. He was one of your standouts, and I know it's just the A-League All-Stars, and we're going to give him props in a minute. But I thought Barcelona, for a team that have nothing to play for, most of them are on the beach or just enjoying themselves. They put on quite a show for us and just showed the benchmark of what top football is about. But All-Stars, give them credit. They played well. That second half was phenomenal, and they could have easily got at least a draw in the end. So they should be proud of themselves.
Robbie, I know you watched the match. Any quick thoughts on what you saw? Were you impressed by the quality?
I really was last night, if I'm being honest. And you can call me the Euro snob because, I do prefer my European football a million times more. And I'm very in and out of the A-League. But, yeah, on both accounts, Barca and the All-Stars, I thought it was actually a really entertaining game. I was sitting there and cheering goals and saying shoot and scream. And, yeah, look, first half, I had my eyes on young Gavi, mate. I thought he really put on the show, mate. Honestly, someone that young, just honestly, it was a pleasure to watch. Dembele was good, but we know what we're going to get from Dembele. I think he could have maybe a couple more shots. I think should have been a little bit more accurate, but some of his runs and dribbling was great. I even thought a quick shout out for good old Dani Alves, mate, 38, 39 years old, still bombing up and down that flank. And, mate, there's a couple great crosses that I think should have been finished off too in that first half. So, and like I said, like you guys said, A-League All-Stars, mate, they hit them on the break, 70-30 on the possession. But when they hit them on the break, they looked really dangerous, created some really clear-cut chances. So over the all, I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was very entertaining.
Spot on. Look, for me to close this out before we move on to the Conference League final, I just want to quickly weigh in on that debate because, again, Twitter's a funny place. People just love to fight, but I can't see the logic of anyone saying that last night hurt the game. You had 70,000 people in a stadium down under watching football. The A-League All-Stars performed. A lot of people were talking about All-Stars players that maybe they hadn't seen because they don't watch the league. And I don't think there's any person who isn't going to watch the grand final because that game was last night. But on the flip side, I think there are plenty of people now who will tune into the grand final after getting excited about football last night. So, look, we've got plenty of big teams coming down under, and this is just the beginning, but that sets a good precedent. Let's move on to the Conference League. Now, I am going to put my hands up and admit I did not watch this match, but I know you boys would have. Robbie, we were talking a little bit before the stream about the achievement, because I've seen a lot of people on social media gassing up Mourinho, saying, he's won every European Cup, this and that. But to me, people mock the Conference League. People, and I know you've said it, and I've said it, Robbie, say they wouldn't want their team competing in there. So are we really going to gas up an elite manager like Mourinho winning a Conference League? I mean, any trophy's a trophy, but do you think he deserves all the praise, or do you think it's been a bit gassed up?
Look, my honest opinion is, I'm happy for the whole gassed up situation. Like I was trying to say to you, and I'm the first one, like I said, I wanted to avoid this competition at all costs. Why? Because we're Manchester United. Why? Because you're Arsenal. We are the top big clubs. For someone like a Leicester, for a Feyenoord, for a Roma this morning, that this is kind of their level. The people that are all finishing their 6th, 7th in their league, it's a third-tier competition. And if anyone listened to the interview that Jose came out with yesterday with Joe Cole, he said that he wasn't running around crazy. Like he said, this is not a Champions League. This is not a Europa League. It's a third-tier competition, and I've explained that to my players. But for them, especially Roma, after winning, they haven't won a trophy since 2008, and they've never won a European trophy. So for them, this is a proper competition, a new competition that UEFA bring out this year. They were in there from the start, and they've won it, mate. So to Jose and all the team, I think it's great. And look, for Jose, the biggest thing today was probably the history of it. He's the number one that's won. He's the first one that's won all three of them, and he loves his history. So for me, I actually thought it was a really entertaining game. I think Roma were the more on top in the first half and got the goal. And I really thought that Feyenoord really came out and tried to get that equaliser and win in the second half. Chris Smalling had an absolute great game. Obviously, Zaniolo got the goal in the first half. But yeah, Feyenoord came out, and they did deserve. Rupert Patricio, another shout out for him. He made some cracker saves, man. So look, once everyone knows Jose, mate, when he gets in front in the European final, it's 5 out of 5 is one. It's hard to break him down. So congrats to Roma and Jose.
RJ, you want to share your quick reflections on the match?
Yeah, just very quickly, he's a serial winner. Like we all have, he had the Spurs tax, but who hasn't had that for the better part of a few decades? The reality is, you don't have to play good football in these types of arenas. I know David put out the parking in a bus situation, but the reality is that's how Mourinho teams of old have always operated. He's a pragmatist. He's a winner. He done it with Chelsea, done it with Inter. We all will never forget what he did against Barcelona with Inter that time. And ultimately, in a final, the reality is the result is greater than everything else. It's not about attractive football. And like Robbie said, the first half, they were on top for large portions of it. Feyenoord, to their credit, they didn't just sit back and let the result come to them. But Mourinho, like him or hate him, when you play for that guy in the biggest arenas, he's got this ability to channel that instinct and really get these boys to really adopt that siege mentality of us against the world. And more often than not, it works. And you know what? For someone that I have a lot of affection for because of the success he's brought both of the teams I go for, I just think the guy, for all of his quirks and personality question marks, he'd be someone that you'd love to play for. And congratulations to him and to the rest of his team, because Roma's not, like Rob said, it's not the top tier clubs at the moment. They're on the rebuild. And just, congratulations to them. They're in the Europa League next season. So the real measure of success will be how they build from this cup.
100%. And it maintains the record. Mourinho has won a trophy at every club except for, boys,
Spurs.
That's
to think that they sacked him the week before that final. I would never. That was the most tough decision I've seen in my life. That one.
The tax is real. Now let's I know the United fans that are in the chat will come out of hibernation now with all their Hala Madrid and come on Madrid. It's coming. You know what they do, these United fans. But we've got a Champions League final on the horizon. Liverpool, Real Madrid. The stage is set. These are two champion teams. One result and Liverpool could have had the EPL title, and Madrid with a cracking season and some players in form. I'm really excited for this match, boys. And I think we're in for not one of those finals where both teams are so reluctant to lose that they go into their shells. I think both of these teams are really going to go for it. And I can't wait to see what it's got in store. What do you reckon, RJ? Give us some thoughts about this match.
How exciting. Real Madrid on the common theme for Real Madrid this season is that they've came back from the brink and really pulled out some impossible results. They were dominated against PSG. They were dominated in the second leg against Chelsea. City were all over them, yet they found a way. And that's what champion teams do. And I very much think that they're going to use a lot of those character building experiences to put them on the front foot against Liverpool. I do expect Liverpool to dominate from the outset and really try to take it to them from the beginning to quash any sort of hopes. But I tell you what, I don't know. I've got this feeling about with players, not just like Karim Reaper, Benzema, my Ballon d'Or contender, hot favorite, but even Vinicius Jr., he's been phenomenal. Then you've got the midfield maestros, Luka Modric at the peak of his powers, Toni Kroos, you've got Casemiro, those experienced players. I think they're going to be key to helping towards Real Madrid just try to really pull off what's seemingly not an impossible result because of who they've beaten on the way. But we all know here that Liverpool will go into this as favourites based on the way that they've dominated the UCL this year. But it has to be said, the pathway to the final has been chalk and cheese. Real Madrid have really done it the hard way. Liverpool have done it their way, despite the hurdle not being as dramatic. So, yeah, Real Madrid, I think, can use the success from the previous matches, and they can ultimately pull this off. But Liverpool's going to make it an almightily difficult task. What about you, Rob? What do you think?
Honestly, I really don't know. I keep seeing both sides. I've got pros and cons for both. It's obviously head and heart will come into this, but the thing that I've seen pop up over the socials in the last few days is this possibility for a sneak inclusion of Gareth Bale and even good old Hazard. That sometimes I forget that he still plays for Real Madrid. But look, Gareth Bale, mate, he's still one of those players, mate. Give him 5 minutes and he can make something happen, mate. And it would not surprise me if that happened, Carlo Ancelotti bringing him on. But look, obviously my heart, I really want to see Real Madrid lose even more. Real Madrid win and even more.
I agree with you, Rob. You want to see him lose too, Real Madrid?
I want to see Liverpool lose. But yeah, look, if I'm going to be honest, I think Liverpool is the better team. And I agree they will go in as favourites. I don't know, man. I'm really hoping, like I said, the Carlo Ancelotti and, like I said, your experienced midfield of Cruz and Modric step up. I can see this one going into extra time, and I honestly don't know who's going to win. I can't give you a prediction, boys.
Do you think Salah's going to turn up for this one or what?
I don't know, man. I'm hoping Ramos is at least in the crowd just to look at him or something.
The shoulder charge.
Yeah, hard.
We'll have to see, boys, but I think there's going to be goals. I genuinely think there's going to be goals. Tom here with an interesting comment, like basically asking if we think the disappointment of not winning the league is going to bring them down. I actually think it's going to serve as motivation. They've got the manager of the year. We'll talk about that in a moment. They've got a guy who knows how to channel the emotions and passions of his players. I don't think Jurgen Klopp is some of your managers are man managers and others are tacticians. I find Klopp is a man manager, and he's going to get those boys in the dressing room. He's going to say, you have been phenomenal this season. We've got these 2 cups to show for it, but this is the prize we deserve. And he's going to fire him up for it.
Yeah, on that front, I reckon Ancelotti is a man manager and a tactician. That's the thing.
Yeah, I would say he's a bit more tactical for me, but you know a lot more about Ancelotti than me. But if you looked at those two on that kind of spectrum, I think Klopp is definitely far on the man management side. Ancelotti maybe a little more balanced in the middle, but it's going to be amazing. I actually think Liverpool are going to win this one in extra time. I'm going with 3-2. I think it's going to be exciting.
You guys,
what's your prediction?
Just a quick one. Who is the key battle that you're looking towards? My one that I'm looking forward to the most is Vinny Jr. versus Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think that's going to be a real fun thing to watch because we all know how classy and how high quality Trent is. We all know he's also more of an attacking-based player, and Vinny Jr. has been in real, no pun intended, hot form this season. So I think that's going to be an awesome clash to watch.
I'm really keen for one of the obvious ones, Benzema and Van Dyke, to be honest.
For sure.
I love the way Benzema makes his runs. He's one of those players, very smart the way he makes his run. And everyone talks about Van Dyke. Yes, I agree, he's very good, but some of the people saying he's one of the best in the world. I don't think he's at that, when you have your John Terrys and your Rios of the world and such. But yeah, look, he's such a smart player in the box, man. Aerial threat, he can score any kind of goal. So I think that'll be a really good challenge, and I'd love to see Benzema come out on top.
What's your prediction, Robbie?
I can't give one. I really
give one, mate. Come on, do it. You're the prediction champ.
Do you want a head or heart one?
Don't care, mate. I just want one.
Look, heart is saying 2-1 in extra time to Madrid. If I'm going to be honest, I think Liverpool win this 2-1 in normal time.
Okay. What about you, Roscoe?
3-2 to Real Madrid.
I like
extra time or normal?
Who cares? Just as long as it ends up that way. No, I think extra time. 3-2.
Put it this way, I don't see this one going to penalties. I really like. I normally have a feeling when I think there's I can't see this going to a shootout for some reason.
Boys, I've put a poll in the chat. It's got 15 votes. Pretty much asking, did Klopp deserve manager of the season? 29% saying yes, 71% saying no. Now, we know who's contributed to the 71%. It's just Tom and George logging in on different accounts.
I voted 10 times, Scott. That's it.
Yeah. But let's quickly touch on that. My stance on it is he shouldn't have won this award. I've plenty of time for Klopp, but I assume that this award is for the Premier League manager of the season.
It's actually called the Premier League manager of the season. Like, I had to look at it again today.
So for me, if FA Cups can't count, League Cups can't count, the Champions League doesn't count, how is he the manager of the season? It's not like he's got, if he had Norwich's squad and he finished second the way with the same amount of points, fair shout. He's got a great squad as well. I can't get my head around how this has happened. And, you know, you look even then on the flip side, if they were counting things like FA Cups and all of that, which is the only way I can see Klopp winning, then why did Kevin De Bruyne win the Premier League Player of the Season and not Mo Salah? I don't know. Robbie, what do you think about it, mate?
Oh, look, you see me on social media, I completely disagree as well. I said, what's the new rule? First the worst, second the best, because that's what I'm going off at the moment. I think I even seen something today. They came out with every manager of the month.
There's the comment right there.
There you go. They come out with every manager of the month over the entire season, and he wasn't in one of them. So, you know, and then like I said, not that stats really matter, but when you look at, I think a lot of people would have seen the table. How many days was Liverpool on top of the table? And, mate, someone like Ollie and United were on top of the table longer than Liverpool. So, look, again, these things I don't understand what the curriculum is, but I can't work this one out, how Klopp gets it over Pep. And like I said, it's definitely for Premier League bound, considering it's called the Premier League manager of the season.
To answer this, if Klopp isn't, who is? Well, the guy that beat Klopp
Pep.
to the title, which is what we're judging. It's Pep for me. Welcome, Premier League TV, new subscriber. I know you subscribed the other day. About time Borchair did something useful instead of just bantering me. So welcome, mate. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for your subscription. Here we've got Andrew saying Liverpool consistently predicted to be out of the running for the league. What he did in the league with AFCON investment. Yeah, look, there's a couple of good points there, but I still don't see it as enough. And I like Klopp. I probably stick up for Liverpool the most on this panel. But yeah, someone like Thomas Frank, yeah, potentially. Ted Lasso, absolutely. But yeah, look, it's a crazy world, boys. It's a crazy, crazy world. And I am perplexed at that decision. RJ, I know your connection seems to be playing up a tiny bit, but do you want to share some of your thoughts on Jurgen?
Yeah, just confirming you can hear me okay? Yes,
yeah,
no?
Mate, we're good.
Sorry. My connection is as stable as the Premier League's decision-making with awarding that manager of the season. But look, in all seriousness, he's a top manager. He really is. Nobody usually would bat an eyelid when it comes to him winning it. But I find it strange. He did win runners-up. It wasn't like a Leicester season and he just fell short. He is working with top-quality players. They've been together for a long time. Yes, he's integrated Luis Diaz, but what has he achieved in the Premier League that justifies him to be the best? To me, that's something that I find hard to rationalise. The team had some really big wins this season, no doubt. When they're on fire, they're arguably the best. But the fact is they didn't get the job done. They did start slow. Their stats against the top 4, top 6 teams wasn't the best. And they were not in first place for a longest period of time. So I just find what were their achievements in the context of other managers like Thomas Frank, like you said, for Brentford, Pep Guardiola, he was leading the crop for the most of the season. Chelsea were first for a longer period of time and had their injury problems and sanctions and blah, blah, blah. I just find it very difficult that he, on this season, in the Premier League, was the number one choice. But yeah, it just goes to show you how dubious these awards really are.
Spot on. Absolutely. Look, boys, because of the time of the season we're at, our streams aren't going to be going for as long, but I want to touch on a couple of little things in the world of transfers. But I do want to share Carlos's comment quickly before I get onto Arsenal's business. Here,
It's got a top squad.
he's saying, look at Liverpool's squad compared to Moneybags and where they finished. He's made the squad, barely bought it. And if people want to throw Virgil in there, people did say Virgil wasn't worth the money. But look, it's true, but it's also a Champions League winning squad that was improved. I'm not buying this Liverpool squad is significantly weaker than City.
And it's this season, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
this coming
this
season. Yeah,
This
you
season,
throw
that's
Haaland in, we've said it's game over for me for the next 5-6 years for everyone. No one's winning a title except City. It's a blue dynasty coming. But Liverpool's squad, they're not plebs. They're not shopping at Audi or actually I shouldn't hate on Audi. I love Audi, but they're not shopping
at Audi. There goes our
mate,
sponsorship with Audi. They're gone.
I took that comment back. I took it back, but you get my point. Someone who is shopping in the bargain bin is Arsenal. I need to get this off my chest, boys. Just a tiny, tiny wee bit of therapy. Eddie Nketiah, 21 appearances this season, 5 goals. He scored 2 of those goals against Chelsea, and I will be forever grateful for that because it was just watching Chelsea in the mud was brilliant. The 3rd goal was because he ran at the Leeds keeper who basically had a bit of an accident, stuffed the ball up, and it went in by default. He scored 5 goals in 21 games. Our fan base is doing what our fan base does best. We are, and my fan base is turning me against guys like Edu and Arteta. I'm not Arteta out. Give him the season. But they're gassing up this signing. We've doubled Nketiah's wages. We've offered him 5 years, 100,000 a week. He scored 5 goals in 21 games. This is the same fan base, and it drives me nuts. I don't get it. I can't comprehend it. These are the same people that celebrated in January that we cleared the wage bill. We got rid of Aubameyang. We forced out a bunch of players. The wage bill. We saved all that money. Boy, am I glad we saved that money to put it into Eddie Nketiah's pocket for 5 years. He's been able to negotiate with other clubs for a while, knowing his contract was expiring, and no one's come in for him. What does that tell you? This is amateur hour. Absolute amateur hour from Arsenal. I'll be disgusted if he signs a contract at 100K a week. It's just absolutely mental. We did re-sign Mo Elneny. I was really happy with that signing because Mo Elneny is someone who is the ultimate squad player. He's happy to be 4th choice. He'll sit there, he'll train, he keeps himself fit and ready to come in if we really need him. Eddie Nketiah wants to be the main guy, but he's not there. He's not that guy. So that's really all that's happening in the world of Arsenal. Eddie Nketiah and Mo Elneny will probably be our only signings a week before the season kicks off. But anything happening at your club, RJ?
I just got to say, you guys had the laugh.
I'm so angry.
You guys had a laugh when he scored. Oh, he hasn't scored any goals. And he scores a brace against Chelsea. But now we get to have the last laugh because you guys have taken that, gassed him up, and now offered him this great wage. So we've set you up nice and good. But honestly speaking, that's a strange decision. I know they're just trying to insure themselves in case they don't get anybody. But yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. Elneny makes a bit more sense for the reasons you said.
Yeah.
For us, because of the ownership situation, as we mentioned, we now are officially able to operate as a normal football club somewhat, which is always good. But we are very far behind the 8 ball in terms of transfers. I know that there's been a lot of speculation. Jules Koundé is about to join us, fingers crossed, from Sevilla. So he'll be a massive gap he fills in the defense. But we've got a few other defenders that we're looking for because Rudiger's going, Christensen's going, Azpilicueta, Alonso as well, potentially to Barcelona. Then you've got players like Jorginho and Kante, whose contracts are on 1 more year remaining. Then there's the £100 million problem up front, along with Captain America, the Moroccan magician, Hakim Ziyech, who hasn't worked out, and the roadrunner, Timo Werner, who hasn't quite worked out either. So there's a lot of comings and goings. Tuchel's pretty much said it's going to take time. We can't replace, it's not hockey. You can't just replace a whole team in one hit. But I do think on top of Koundé, there's players like Chouameni, who we're going to miss out on now. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I do expect a very, very heavy transfer window. Declan Rice probably too expensive. But I'm hoping Darwin Núñez, he's someone that I know Real Madrid and a few others are targeting, but we're very much in the race for him as well. But our loanees, Gilmore, Gallagher, Armando Broja, Ethan Ampadu, I wouldn't be surprised if we recall all of them back. And depending on who goes in that midfield area, because Juventus have been talking a lot about getting Jorginho potentially, I can very much see him leaving this summer. As much as I like his leadership, I like his unique style of play and what he brings to that defensive midfield position, I can easily see him leaving this summer, but while we can get some value for him.
Robbie, any news to United?
Nothing's really changed, man, since Tuesday. Again, the same names are linked. We all know there's going to be quite a few going out the door. So, yeah, nothing crazy. Every 5 seconds, I hate when you get the fake accounts. This is done. Like for the past five weeks, I've been seeing that Timber or, Núñez is done, or it's getting closer, but then they've backed out. So, look, obviously last night I was watching Frankie de Jong at Barca with a big question mark. He's been heavily linked to us. Personally, I don't think it will happen. But, there's still a possibility. So we'll just have to see what happens.
ZH to United, Rob, or what?
Oh, it's a no for me. I've seen that today. That's a hell no for me.
You don't think he's better than some of the guys you've got?
Look, he probably is.
And with a manager who knows how to get the best.
Ajax player, and he's had a relationship with the boss. Like everyone's going to be told you. And if you're Dutch, you're linked to us at the moment.
Now, look, it's exciting times. Can I ask you all to smash the like button, leave a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed for some crazy reason, please make sure you do that. Short show tonight. We are going to be back on Tuesday and Thursday doing some report cards. So taking a little bit of a more in-depth look at some of the Premier League clubs and giving them some scores and talking about the expectations for them at the start of the season and how they finished up. So I'm sure that'll invite a fair amount of debate. We would love you to join us for some of that. So make sure you keep an eye on our socials and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Boys, it is time for some quick fires. Have you got one for me, Mr. RJ?
I do, but I just want to say very quickly on the club front for the next season's Premier League, City, front runners, Liverpool, prospective UCL champions, Chelsea third spot, United, Arsenal, Spurs now to Champions League, Newcastle with all the investment they're going to have. Next season, that top 4 race is going to be absolutely insane. So I just thinking about all the permutations from a transfer perspective. I heard about Jared Bowen potentially going now to Newcastle. All of that stuff's very, very, very scary. So, yeah, they're a team to really watch this space on. But in terms of my quick fire questions, I've actually got a concept for you, gentlemen, where I read out a movie quote, you tell me where it's from. There's only a couple. So the first one is, the hardest decisions require the strongest wills. Who knows where that's from?
It's not Shawshank Redemption, is it?
No. Someone that you like very much, actually. Both of you really like this character.
I like many people.
No, you don't.
Can't think of it.
Tell us.
Thanos says that in Avengers. The hardest decisions require the strongest wills. Yeah.
Yes, true. Infinity War. Yeah.
Infinity War, correct. And the next one is, what we do in life echoes in eternity. You know that one?
It's not this one. It's not this, is it?
No, I don't think it's that. Aussie Spur TV. I don't think so. What we do in life echoes in eternity. All right, I'll tell you. I'll break it. Gladiator.
Okay, good shit.
Love that movie, but top movie.
Yeah.
Robbie, anything from you?
I got none. I just wanted to do a few of those little catchphrases today. I like how the boys are throwing them in the live chat. So,
all right, you've done yours throughout.
I think Tom's chucked on up there. I can't really see what it is again. So if anyone wants to, I can't see it.
Chef, a ring, and a calendar. Oh God, I've got nothing.
We're gonna have to get someone to think. But yeah, look, one quick question for me, boys. Just a quick answer on it. What is your opinion on football ultras?
Yeah, look, to me, as long as they're not beefing with innocent football fans, no problem. If it's two groups that want a bit of banter, a bit of back and forward, even some, minor argy-bargy, nothing serious. Why not? I think you need atmosphere. And ultras are very good at that.
Just as long as they don't invade the pitch and hurt anybody. That's the main thing.
Correct.
Keeping things civilized,
Correct.
being respectful. That's what matters. Yeah. Look, yeah. I like it for atmosphere as long as they're not intimidating people, because not everybody there is going in for the same experience. They're there to watch football at the end of the day.
Yeah, cool. No, nice.
Easy. And look, for me, gentlemen, quite simply, now that we're all a little bit older,
and bolder, some of us.
I went out last night and I struggled. I got
Speak
home.
for yourself, man. Speak for yourself.
Got in bed at midnight, and mate, I felt like I've been on a 6-day bender this morning. What's your time? What times do you start contemplating some bed? What's your bedtime, RJ?
I have to agree. I got home after midnight. It was the worst transport. Anyone who went to the game last night, that was terrible. Terrible public service transport. But anyway, I drove there. What time do I contemplate going to bed? No, I wouldn't go to bed before 11 these days, because I like to watch my 24s and my Sopranos, Scott, as you know.
Beautiful. And Robbie, your bedtime before we call bedtime on this channel?
Yeah, I'm around about the 10:30. I like it. If I'm asleep by 10:30, I'm happy. Especially, I get up earliest out of all of us. I'm up by 5 every morning. Normally start work at 6, so I'm an early riser. But yeah, look, we've for years of watching Premier League, mate, on a 3 o'clock on a Monday morning. I'm sure we can all get through the day, mate, on not much sleep at all. But yeah, 10:30 is a good time for me.
That's it. All right, gentlemen, it's been fun. We will be back on Tuesday night doing some report cards. We are going to do our 3 clubs. So Chelsea, United, Arsenal, they will all be covered in a little bit more depth. And we'll be giving them some grades on their report cards. Make sure you look after yourselves, and we will catch you back here on Tuesday. Take care. Enjoy your football, everyone.
Ciao.